Right, hey guys, welcome to Practical 4, where we have done classes and objects with you. So let's quickly jump into that. Right, step 1 was creating the form, and also note that we have introduced two new controls to you, the datetime picker and the domain up down. Alright, and cool. Step 2 was add a band class, as was demonstrated in the theory lecture. It should contain the following data members: mband name, genre, number of members, and mnext gig date. Okay, so let's quickly jump into that. So here you have your band class. Okay, so obviously this code won't be there when you create your new class. So just bear that in mind. But okay, so here we have your data members. Okay, it's of type string for your band name, type string for your genre, type int for number of members, and string for next gig date. Okay, it's string because for band name and genre because you are providing the input through a text box. Int is numeric up down, and string is your datetime picker that is of type string. The format that you get the value from the datetime picker is of type string. Okay, then you have your member methods, each named without the m, because the m here is where you're gonna get or set the value, or retrieve or set the value of whatever the band name is of the object, or the genre, or the number of members, etc. Okay, so you can see it's very repetitive. So there you have your name without the m, but here you do have your member variable's name. Okay, because that is the actual data that you use, and you pass it through to the name or the genre or the number of members, respectfully. Okay, cool. So as you can see, as I said, it's repetitive. It's just basically you can copy and paste this as long as you understand why it is like it is. Okay, cool. And if as we scroll down, we have our default constructor. Cool. So the default constructor here is in case the program or the user of the program failed to provide a value when they created a new object of this class, then this is the default values of that object. Okay, so the name will be no name, genre will be no genre, number of members will be 0, and the next, or the gig date, will be as that, because we don't know what the date will be. We can't give him a date if we don't know what the date will be or can be. Okay, so that is the formats of the dates. So this is your default constructor. This is what the object will be if you give or pass no values to that object. Okay, cool. So this was your class. Fairly straightforward, I would say, guys. All right, so then step 3 was declare 4 global variables of type band. Okay, so then we go to our code, and as you can see here, we declared 4 global variables. Straightforward. That was explained to you guys in class. This is basically creating a new object of the class band. Okay, and in count is equals to 0, but we will get to that later. Okay, so the button add click event handler. Alright, so first you can see in this if statement we have basic validation. I'm not going to go over that to you, but that's just to check if the user provided the correct details. By now you ought to know how to do proper validation. Alright, so we have a try, and then obviously we would have a catch if we have a try statement here. So let's see. First we create a band object, but let's quickly go back to your slides. Alright, so these are the steps that you had to follow in order to do the practical exercise, but as I explain the code, you will notice that as I explain, we will go through the steps. Okay, cool. So firstly we need to create a band object. So how do we do that? We say band, and then we name the object new band, and then we say new band, and then the brackets. Okay, so this is, you need to be familiar with this, because this is the same as creating a new random object. But now, instead of the random class that we use, we create a new object of the type band class. Alright, very straightforward. Okay, cool. So As I said, we want to access the data members of the new band object of the class that of the band class that we created just now. So we do that by saying new band. As you can see there, we have new band, and it's of type band class. And then if we say the dots, then we can, as you see, you can access the name, the genre, the next gig date, and the number of members of that object, which is the data members that we declared in the class, which are these guys. Okay, so as you can see, if we create an object then of this class, then we can access the data members of that class. All right, so as you can see here, we access name, genre, number of members, and next gig date. But now we are assigning values to those data members, okay, of this object. Cool. So after we create this object, the name of the band will be whatever the user provided, the genre, the number of members, and then the date followed also what the user provided. Okay, cool. So now we have a band where we provided values. Okay. Also, as I previously pointed out, int count is equals to 0. So now after we created and added values to the band, we increase count. Okay, I'm going to explain to you now, because as you can see here, we have a switch, and the identifier of that switch statement is a count, and that is the count that we use here. All right, text number added dot text is the count. Okay, so text number added is this guy. All right, so as you add, the number of bands added should appear here. Okay, cool. So, and the domain up-down.items.add is whatever band name is successfully added to the object here, and that is this guy, that control. So as you add, then only the name of the band that you added here will be stored in this control. Okay, I'm going to show you after the practical, once everything is working and complete, how this works. Okay, and then we have your clear fields method, which is generated here or created here, and then we just call it here. So every time you add, everything gets cleared. Okay, cool. So now let's get back to the switch statement. So as I said, we work with the count, which is being incremented. So each case, which means each band, because we can only add 4 bands in this program. Okay, right, so case 1 will be band 1, case 2 will be band 2, and etc, etc. Cool. Alright, so in this case, case 1 is band 1 that we have created here, object, is now equals to the object that we created when the count was 1. Okay, meaning the first band that we added. And we can set that equals to one another because it's of type objects. Okay, there you can see it's band and band. It's of the same type, so we are allowed to do this. Okay, and also you need to give a message, provide a message when a band is successfully added. Okay, message box.show first band added successfully. Okay, so every time a band is added successfully, the message box will appear. Okay, so as I'm just quickly going to explain that again. So count is 0. We start off at 0. But as soon as you create, remember guys, every time you click the button, you are adding a band. So every time you click the button, a new object is created. A new band basically is from scratch created. So these values are always going to change. And that's why we can do this. Is equals to new band, new band, new band every time, because the values of new band will change every time the button is clicked. Okay, cool. I just wanted to make myself clear. And we use count to actually link with, okay, cool. So case 1, count is basically 1. So the first band, whatever values here, should be equals to band 1. Okay, cool. Click the button again, add or provide the values, click the add button again. Now we are adding the second band with new values. So band 2 is equals to the new band then. Alright, and then it goes on and on until you have added 4 bands. Okay. Alright. Awesome. So all this code basically, so what this is after the 4th band is added successfully, basically the group box and the add button and everything is being disabled, hindering the user of actually adding more bands. Cool. So that is basically what this code is doing. Alright, and the catch, the exception that you throw in the catch is basically just if something goes astray regarding the values that you provide, or something went wrong that is unexplainable, it should just provide a message box to the user. Okay, so that was our method that we used. Alright, cool. So the button next gig is what we do here. So after everything is added, that will be this group box. Everything will be disabled as well as the add button. This is also, I think it should be grayed out. If it's not, you can, it doesn't matter if you can change this or not. We're not using this code. It's just to actually show how many bands are created or have been added. Alright, so as you click this button, you had to select whatever band you added, the name of that band, and then if you click this, the date of that band, the name and the date of that band should be provided in a message box to you. Okay, so that is what we are doing here. So we should first get the selected index of the selected band. Okay, and we are doing that with int because it's of type integer, which is the selected index. Okay, cool. So we say int selected band is equals to domain up down band names dot selected index plus 1. Okay, so we do that because we need the index always starts at 0, but we need in the case of this control, we need to get the selected index, and by doing that we need to have a plus 1 there. All right, to get the index of the selected band. There we go, there we have the comment. All right, so depending on which band was selected, show the next gig date. Okay, so the selected band, as you can see, we have the int, and we use case 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's why we have to get the indexes. All right, it's of type int, and we have added the bands like this, case 1, 2, 3, 4, and we are working with 4 bands here as well. Again, okay. So it's basically almost the same switch statement, but now instead of assigning values to each object and showing that the band was added successfully, now we access that band that we have assigned the values to, and then we show what gig date, what the next gig date of that band is. Okay, cool. So case 1, which is in essence band 1, all right, we want to show the band name. Okay, so as you can see here, we say band 1 dot band name, band 2 dot band name, and then it goes on like that. All right, but let's quickly jump into case 1. So it says message box dot show, and then band 1 dot band name, which is the name of the band. All right, the data member of that object, band 1, has a gig on, and then band 1 dot next gig date. Okay, cool. So as you can see, we are accessing the data members after it has been assigned like this. Okay, and then that is basically what it's going to show. All right, only the name and the date. So the name, this band has a gig on that date, and then it goes on for band 2, band 3, band 4. So as you can see, the data members, the name, it's the same, but it's different for each object because each object has a different name. But the data member, what you call it, band name, it remains the same, but the value of this, what we call band name, is different for each band object. Okay, always remember that, guys. And then it has a gig on respectfully also band 1 next gig date, band 2, and it continues like that. And then we also have a default, so something weird happened, no band selected in the case that you haven't selected a band here. All right, So that is our program, guys, and I'm quickly going to run through it with you, just so that you can quickly see what the code should do. So, all right. So now the most difficult part is choosing your bands. All right. So let's quickly say 21 Pilots. I hope you guys like them. All right. Music genre. I'm just going to say alt for alternative. There's two guys in the band. All right. So let's say they have a show on the 29th of September on a Friday. Cool. First band added successfully and the method clears everything. Alright, next band, let's say Muse. Alright, genre, I think they're also alternative, so I'm going to say alt. Number of band members, 3. Alright, let's say they are like, sure, the 1st of September, okay, cool. We add them, second band added successfully, cool. The next one, okay, for all the EDM people, let's say Tiesto, okay, music genre, okay, EDM, I'm sorry, this is not so technical. Anyways, number 1 for number of members, okay, cool. And Tiesto is playing on a Friday, the 27th of October. Okay, we add him successfully. And then the last band, let's say AC/DC, I wish. They are definitely rock. Alright, band members, I think there were 4. Okay, so we have to wait until the 24th of November. Right, fourth band added successfully. Remember now, as soon as the fourth band is selected or added, everything here should be disabled. Okay, as I said, okay, cool, this is not disabled, but as I also said, it doesn't matter because we're not using this as a value. Alright, and now, since everything is added, as we add the values, alright, where was that piece of code? Yes, here we have it. Alright, so as we click the add button, every time the name of the band that the user provided there goes into the domain up down. Alright, so this is just plain text. This is not the name or any data member of the band. This is just text that actually shows you or identifies the band. So as you can see there, domain up down dot items dot add is just the name of the band. Okay, cool. So it has no link with the object. Alright, only in the switch statement. And that's why, as you can see here, 21 Pilots was the first, so case 1 is 21 Pilots. Case 2 will be Muse because the band 1 was 21 Pilots, band 2 is Muse, band 3 is Tiesto, and band 4 will be AC/DC. Alright, so there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Alright, so as I click down, there's no more, and as I go up, there's no more either. Alright, so let's quickly check. I remember AC/DC was on the 24th of November, so let's see. Show date. Alright, so there we go. AC/DC band 4 dot band name. So band name is AC/DC. So AC/DC is the name of band 4 of that object. Alright, has a gig on, there we go, has a gig on Friday, November 24th, 2017. Alright, cool. One more example. Let's say 21 Pilots. Alright, so band 1 dot band name. So the name will be 21 Pilots, has a gig on, and then I can't remember what the date was there, so let's quickly check. Alright, there we go. 21 Pilots, which is the name of band 1 that we assigned to band 1, the object, has a gig on Friday, September the 29th of 2017. Alright, so that is the date of band 1, which is 21 Pilots. Okay, so yeah guys, that was it regarding practical 4. Yeah, classes and objects, it's really fun. It's really a very important programming principle. So as soon as you can get this right, the better. So yeah, cool. Awesome guys. Cheers.